Are you ready, Monarch fans? It's time for the Old Dominion Football Show with Bruce Rader and Coach Bobby Wilder. Sponsored by Town Bank.
Old Dominion in Western Kentucky. Two Conference USA teams with similar circumstances this season. Close games that could have gone either way. So expect another close game this weekend as the Monarchs travel to Bowling Green to take on the Hilltoppers. I'm Bruce Rader along with Coach Bobby Wilder. Welcome to the Old Dominion Football Show, Week 8 of the college football season. Coach, both Old Dominion and Western Kentucky, two teams with only one win apiece. This looks like a very close matchup on Saturday. Yeah,
it very well could be, Bruce. We've both been in close games and we've both got some injury situations. What's critical for us right now, Bruce, is all of these games we've been in are close games. Even the game with Virginia Tech that we won was a close game in the fourth quarter. And what we're seeing right now, Bruce, is we're just a couple plays short, whether it's defense, whether it's a possession on offense, something on special teams, in those critical situations that we're not making right now. And what we've found is happening, particularly with some injury situations, you've got guys like O'Shane Zimenez and others that are playing 60, 70 snaps a game. We've got to keep developing the backups so we can take some of the stress off the starters in those critical fourth quarter situations.
But you notice your players just keep on fighting. Last week, a hard-fought game against Marshall.
Right.
But once again, your offense put up some big numbers, over 400 yards, 300 yards from your quarterback, Blake LaRussa. So the offense is rolling.
Yeah, Blake continues to play well, Bruce. He was 31 for 54 in the game. We'd rather not throw it 54 times. We need to run it a little bit more effectively. And what happened in this game, Bruce, is we couldn't get the success in the first half. We only had 3 points in the first half and 150 yards. Then there were 17 points and 250 yards in the second half. Marshall changed up their defense, the way they were playing us. We actually shut them out in the first quarter of this game, played excellent defense, but the turnovers in the first half hurt us. We've got to run the ball better. We need Blake to keep doing what he's doing.
Well, you talk about running the ball better, but boy, do you have some depth at that position, especially young depth. We met last week yet another young running back, freshman Will Knight. And I understand he was the Delaware Gatorade Player of the Year last year.
He was. He had 70 yards rushing in this game, Bruce, another 30 yards receiving between Will Knight and Lala Davis, the outstanding running back from Virginia. You're allowed, Bruce, remember, we can play each of them in 4 games. Okay, Lala's played in 2. This will be Will's second game coming up. They can play in 4 games and still keep their red shirt. So between the two of them, because of injuries we've had at running back, Jeremy Cox has been injured, Keyshawn Strong has been hurt, now he's back. We want to keep playing these young freshmen and continue to develop them.
And as much as you love that new redshirt rule, now it's time for you guys to start making some tough decisions.
It is. You get to that point, Bruce, where we played 10 freshmen to this point. A couple of them have played and will continue to play throughout the year. Outstanding tight end, Dante Anthony. He's played in every game. He's playing good football. He had a 29-yard catch Saturday that got us going in the third quarter. B.R. Hatcher, outstanding long snapper. People don't even notice him, and that's a good thing because all his snaps are right on the money. So a couple of them will continue to play. Some of the others, like you said, it's decision time.
All right. Now, the defense struggled against Marshall. But as he does every week, defensive star O'Shane Zimenez comes up with a big play, that tipped interception. And nobody has a more positive attitude than O'Shane. Coach, take a listen.
Right now, I think we're going to win out for the rest of the season after this week of practice, because we're about to go in, we're about to have the best week of practice we ever had since we started playing football here. So, yeah, we're going to win out.
Coach, it is worth the price of a ticket just to go watch O'Shane play. I assume he's the best defensive player you've ever coached?
He is, yeah. I've been doing it for 30 years and been around some great players, NFL players. But what you just heard from him, that's what he does at practice. That's what he does in meetings. 7 tackles, Bruce, on Saturday. That tip interception that you were talking about was one of the best plays you'll ever see, and another sack. He's got 8.5 sacks right now. He's one of the leaders in the country. Sacks, tackles for losses.
You're always preaching the importance of finishing. Now, I have a feeling that Saturday's game is going to come down to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it is, Bruce. And what we're working on right now as a staff is trying to make sure in the fourth quarter. We've got our players in the right position to be successful. I mentioned earlier that some of our players, particularly our defensive players, are just playing too many snaps because we've got so many injuries on defense. Lawrence Garner, outstanding linebackers, out again this week. We've had to move some players around, so worked really hard in practice this week in developing what we call our backup ones, some players we've had to move positions because you want to get to the fourth quarter, Bruce, and had the opportunity to sub some of your guys in the first, second, or third. We haven't been able to do that. We've got to do that this week.
You talked about Jeremy Cox real quick before we go to the break. Right. His injury status?
Yeah, he'll be out again this week. I'm hoping he'll be back next week. That ankle just isn't ready to go yet.
Who's going to be running the football?
Keyshawn Strong, Will Knight again will be in there, and then by committee with our other running backs.
All right, when we come back, for the past 4 years, Nick Clark has been in the center of the Old Dominion offense, and it's not just because of his hairstyle. Tonight, he's going to go head-to-head with Nathan Epstein in the 1-minute drill as the Old Dominion Football Show continues. Don't go away.
Welcome back to the Old Dominion Football Show and the 1-minute drill. I'm Nathan Epstein, joined by Nick Clark, the fifth-year center. Does it feel like 5 years?
Last time I checked, I was just getting dropped off by my parents for first-year dorms, so it's rolled by fast.
As an offensive lineman, you have to be a tough guy. Do you consider yourself a tough guy?
I would say so. I pride myself on playing every game, every snap. I haven't missed a practice yet since I was here at school, so it's important when you play offensive line to not miss any plays, especially as a center when you're the glue of everything, you make calls and whatnot. So I would definitely consider myself a tough guy.
Tough guy, though. Does a tough guy cry during movies at all?
Do I cry during movies? Every once in a while. I know Marley and Me gets me every time. Every time Marley and Me gets me.
Do you have to make sure that nobody else sees it, though?
Yes, no, I remember going to see that in theaters with my family, and when my dad came out crying, too, I knew it was okay.
What is the one thing, though, that scares you?
I am very afraid of sharks. Sharks and a ghost, but mainly sharks.
You don't enjoy watching Jaws?
I watched that as a kid, and that kind of messed me up.
Nick Clark, he's a fifth-year center. He does not like sharks, but he did pass the 1-minute drill. Nick, why don't you say goodbye to the Monarch Nation?
Bye, Monarch Nation. Looking forward to seeing you this year.
On the field, Coach, no question, you have a good center, and you have been lucky enough to have great stability at that position for the past 4 years.
Wow, it's amazing when you think about it, Bruce, 4 years, and he's battled through injuries, situations with his knees, and he has been an absolute warrior for us. He's been there. He's one of the leaders of our football team, and he's not gone yet. We're already going to miss him.
You don't see him often on TV except on, say, the 1-minute drill, but that offensive line can make or break a season.
Yes, it can, and the fact that, as you know, Bruce, your center is the guy that makes the whole thing go, and that's what Nick's been able to do for us.
All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Bruce Rader along with Coach Bobby Wilder. Another week, another good performance by quarterback Blake LaRussa. But your opponents have now been able to have film on Blake. So how important is it to get your running game going?
Yeah, that's absolutely critical, Bruce. You mentioned our opponents. We're playing against good teams with good coaches, and they're looking now and saying we need to play more coverage because of Duhart and Fulgham on the outside. You're seeing more of two deep coverages. So you get two guys on both receivers, which allows you more run game or inside throws, the tight ends in the back, and we're having to adjust in that regard. Not that we're going to stop throwing it to Duhart and Fulgham, but Dante Anthony, Keon White are two tight ends. The running backs, I mentioned Will Knight had a couple of catches in this game. You'll see more of that, and Blake, because he's a veteran guy, Bruce, and he's a really smart quarterback, he'll make those necessary adjustments.
And I've noticed defenses are really stacking it up, big 7-man fronts there, and that's something that you guys have to be able to break through.
Yeah, when you play, for example, you play a team like Marshall, which is top 10 in the nation in run defense. They're going to play coverage and say, we're going to force you to run it. Well, we only rushed for a little more than 100 yards in that game. We've got to be able to rush for more yards than that when people go out and play coverage.
All right, after Saturday, you have 3 straight home games. How big would it be to get that road game down in Bowling Green, to get the momentum going in the final 5 games of the season. And if I'm correct, you guys have never beaten Western Kentucky before.
We have not. This has been a major challenge for us. But you heard O'Shane Zimenez earlier talking passionately after the game that we go get this win, and then all of a sudden, you mentioned we come home for 3. That can change your entire season.
Well, anything you want to say to the fans?
Hey, hang in there with us. Bruce, they were phenomenal at the Marshall game at 28-20 in the fourth quarter. They were motivating us. We just didn't make enough plays. Hang in there with us.
All right. After Saturday home games against Middle Tennessee, North Texas, and VMI, Coach, enjoy your trip down to Bowling Green.
Bruce.
Join us every Wednesday night at 10:45 here on Fox 43 for the Old Dominion Football Show. And don't forget, you can watch the show anytime at home, at the office. Just go to wavy.com and click on sports. Good night, everybody.
Have a great night.